I'm going to be listening so closely on who you think is going to win the McGregor-Anderson Silva fight,
If it happens.
so I can
If it
pick
happens.
the opposite person.
If it happens, but we'll get into that.
I think it's going to happen. I do.
You want to know something? Since we got Jeff on the phone, we might as well open up with that.
You want to talk about the Conor McGregor and
we were going to talk about that anyway.
Anderson Silva fight?
Yes. So I guess everything is official according to everybody's Twitter handles.
Yes, it's
and
official.
That's the only thing that's official is that it's through Twitter. Somebody
there
threw
was
it
no
out
announcement.
there.
Yeah.
No, somebody threw out the challenge, and now it's accepted. Where I believe the fight's supposed to be at 176 pounds. Is
75
what was,
pounds. Yeah, that's right.
something like that. That's what was ultimately proposed between the two parties. Now, nothing obviously is official, but we all know how this is as a business. Somebody's going to try to make money out of this, and somebody's going to try to make this happen. Obviously, it's going to be another circus, and
It's already a circus.
I mean, Conor McGregor is going to make
lots and lots
a
of money.
hell of a lot more money than Anderson Silva was.
And you were right. It's 176 pounds.
176 pounds, because considering it's not 170, that extra pound to go over 170, please.
175.
Really, we might as well just go old school Japanese, tournament rules of just open weight at this point. So. That's what the rumor is, and I'm going to call it a rumor until it's official. Which, what would you say? Probably 4th of July. They'll probably announce it for Fight Island or something.
Yeah, I think probably a month from now they're going to announce it, and it's going to probably be a month after that. It'll be in August.
And here's the thing: it's probably going to be a situation where not just the Anderson Silva thing, but other people are going to try to weigh in on this, like the Masvidal or the Usman. We heard these names come up before this.
But wouldn't that piss you off right now? If you were Usman or Masvidal right now, they're champions. I know Masvidal isn't a champion. That belt is ridiculous.
I have a problem with the super fight format right now out of everything, just because I think it takes value. When you're dealing with these crossover weight classes and champions coming over from another and this guy coming over from there, you're devaluing the ranking system that you already have and devaluing the weight class. That's why when people say people are holding up the weight classes, I think Stipe was supposedly accused of holding up the heavyweights.
Which is ridiculous.
That's a ridiculous thing to say. But are you really holding it up because he doesn't want to deal with the corona? Or are you holding it up because now the heavyweight champ is going to go into the lightweight, the light heavyweight? The lightweight's going to go against the middleweight. That holds up the whole thing. So I'm just wondering, now out of all of these scenarios, and let's ask Jeff, which fight are you more inclined to want to watch? McGregor go against Anderson Silva, if that seems more realistic than Conor McGregor. What was it? McGregor versus Masvidal, I think, was another one that was on the table.
Yes.
So, Jeff, in your opinion, would you rather see Masvidal McGregor or McGregor Silva?
Just for me personally, I'd rather see McGregor Silva. Like, I understand what you're saying as far as like a devaluing maybe some of the belts and like the weight classes that they have. But honestly, that's never been a problem in boxing. They've always fought at there's always been big fights at catch weights for, not championship belts or whatever, just because people wanted to see those two people fight. And I think it does serve the sport in a way to get two giant, great fighters with big personalities in there on their own just for the fight, even if it does delay some of the ranking matches.
I mean, I think I agree with some of the points that you're making. I do agree, and you're making some really good points. Because when you're dealing with Anderson Silva, is Anderson Silva really going to be making a middleweight title run? Probably not. Is McGregor going to be making a title run in whatever the hell weight class he decides to flip a coin and go in this week?
It seems like he likes to go in one, the other, and the other.
And he has that flexibility to do that when you're in there. He could actually fluctuate between 3 or 4 weight classes, because now the more weight classes, the slower
we were even hearing that he wanted to move up to 185, the light middleweights.
And he'll get...
the middleweight.
And he'll get ripped in half like a freaking, ragdoll.
But he came out and said that he would fight in the middleweight division. And Tyrone Woodley has come out and said that he wants to fight Conor McGregor. And the reason why Tyrone Woodley has not fought in the last couple of months, really almost a year since he lost against Usman, is because he's been in depression. He's been in a depression after he lost that fight. He hasn't fought in a while. If you look at Tyrone Woodley right now,
Usman.
that's a long time. That was over a year ago. And I understand this whole Anderson Silva, and I know everybody's trying to make money off this, and Anderson Silva wants to make that one big money-making fight. Anderson Silva is not the same Anderson Silva we remember, the dominant Anderson Silva that we saw for 8 years where he didn't lose a fight. And he was the most dominant force in the UFC. He was the guy that the UFC built around for 8 years after the Randy Couture's, the Chuck Liddells, the Tito Ortiz. Everybody just retired. It was done. And then all of a sudden, Anderson Silva lost those 2 fights against Chris Weidman, and his career was practically over. He's had a couple of fights. He's won a couple of fights. He's lost a couple of fights. He is not the same Spider we remember. So, again, do I like this fight? I think this is a terrible fight. It's not a fight that I'm going to want to buy. I understand it's Anderson Silva. I understand he's a big name, and everybody loves Anderson Silva, and he's going to be he's a big draw. He's been a big draw since he's come to the UFC from Pride. So we understand what Anderson Silva brings to the table, but we also understand what Conor McGregor brings to the table. Why isn't Conor McGregor fighting Masvidal? Or why is he fighting Usman or Tyrone Woodley? Guys that are around his age where, I mean, obviously Tyrone Woodley isn't. He's 36, 37 years old. He's the Anderson Silva age. But Anderson Silva is 40 years old against a 30-year-old man who's at the top of his top of his fighting career. Why would the UFC want to see that? Now, if they think that's going to sell, if somehow Anderson Silva pulls off a win like this, it will be one of the biggest upsets in MMA history. But the chances of Anderson Silva beating Conor McGregor in a 5-round fight, because that's what it's going to be, it's not happening. It's not. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why Dana White, the great Dana White, is going to accept this. And obviously he is, even though he hasn't done anything yet, no press reports, anything like that. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This is what the UFC is trying to sell right now.
But here's the thing. Is it any, and in some situations, is this any more ridiculous than Dominic Cruz, after not fighting for 2 years, coming in and challenging for a title?
This is more ridiculous.
Is this any more ridiculous than, and we're going to get on this topic too, but it's a nice little segue, any more ridiculous than Jose Aldo coming off 2 losses and getting a title shot against Petr Yan for a vacated title, when there's 2 other contenders, up-and-coming talent, right there under your noses, and you're giving them the shaft? So is this any more ridiculous than that? It almost seems like right now, coming off of the transition from this COVID thing, and he's trying to piggyback off the success that ultimately, for as of right now, until something comes up in terms of being sick or any illness, God forbid, hopefully it doesn't, these last fight nights and pay-per-views, I would call them successful because they happened, and there was very limited, I would say, casualties in regards to sickness. So in that state, in returns, it was he's up in the ante is what he's doing. Mm-hmm. He came in kind of slow with some of these fights, and now he's trying to have the bigger draw, which he's going with the super fight thing. Obviously, the super fight thing.
I don't even think he's doing, Anthony. I don't even think he's doing a super fight. I think he wants every single one of his champions.
Well, that's what this would be considered.
Well, he wants every one of his champions. This is why you're hearing that Jose Aldo is the number 1 contender for that belt. And the reason why he's the number 1 contender, because he's a name. He wants names to be the champions of his belts.
But the problem with that is, and Jeff, I know you're there, and maybe you'll agree with us on this. The problem with recycling these names from the past, you're not taking care of the investment of the younger talent that's going to be carrying the sport for the next 10 years by giving them the exposure. So once again, you're pushing them away from the spotlight, so there's no connection to the outside world and the mainstream audience, and you're recycling these names off of the past. And you're basically going to just hurt the future.
Listen, I understand that as well, right? But, it almost seems to, maybe I'm wrong in the way that I'm perceiving how this conversation is going, but
you're never wrong, Jeff. Just errorless. That's okay.
No,
we established this last week.
Listen, buddy. You don't want to talk to anybody about being wrong. I've put in your picks. You have been way off.
Wait until you hear this. Hey, I got some more for tomorrow for you. For you, just so you know.
No, but maybe I'm just kind of viewing it differently. But like, I never had a problem with boxers fighting at catchweights. Like Manny Pacquiao was like the catchweight king and would fight anybody, and people liked it because they wanted to see those kinds of fights. I don't mind seeing those kinds of things if it's what people want to watch. Like, I think maybe you guys are just too much of the purist kind of way. Maybe not. I don't know. But you guys want to just keep advancing guys up the ladder, making it go up and down. Sometimes people just want to see fights just because it would be, how like everyone goes, oh, Roy Jones was the pound for pound king. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe if he had fought a couple of other guys out of his weight class and moved up or down, and sometimes people just want to see two individuals in different weight classes go after it.
Now we got other stuff coming up. Now we got more exciting things coming up.
What, Conor and Anderson Silva?
No. You have Amanda Nunes fighting Felice Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
Felice Spencer, a really good fighter out of Canada. That's coming up. That's a nice fight coming up. You have, unfortunately, you got Aljamain Sterling going against Sandhagen.
When are we getting
June
him
6th.
On the show? He's a Long Island native, and he should be on the show.
He'll come on the show. I'm sure he will. But here's the thing with that fight. That fight, unfortunately, you got two guys fighting June 6th, two top 5 contenders for that title that Petr Yan is fighting Jose Aldo for. Petr Yan, my hat's off to you. Great. I'm happy you got the fight and such. Unfortunately, you have to waste the time dealing with Jose Aldo. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't beat Jose Aldo.
Jose Aldo hasn't been a good fighter
Jose
for a
Aldo
while.
does not deserve that title fight. I'm sorry. The last 2 fights he lost were title contender bouts that he ultimately ended up losing, and those 2 people that won ended up getting title fights.
What you're saying is I'm going to end up betting heavy on Jose Aldo because you don't think he can win.
You want to know something? The money is probably going to be so bad on that. If you wanted to bet a couple of bucks on that puppy and just see how it goes,
I'm not even talking about the money being so bad. I'm picking fights so terribly. I'm probably going to win outright on that fight.
Okay. Go ahead.
You picked Matt Brown. That is still sleeping after eating that punch.
Oh, listen, man. Matt Brown always has a puncher's chance. Still, if he has another fight coming up, I'll still give him a puncher's chance. Still.
Terrible. Anyways, I got better things. I wanted to call and just let you know, Anthony, I've given up on you. No longer do I think you're an expert.
You might want to take the two. You might want to take the 2 underdogs tomorrow. You might want to take the 2 underdogs tomorrow.
You have flushed your credibility with me.
You may want to take the 2 underdogs tomorrow. You may want to take the 2 underdogs tomorrow. I'm just saying.
You know what's funny? I was talking to Jeff before you get off the phone. He said, Anthony, we were sitting over here before the show, and he was telling me, are you playing the stock market? And I was like, and he's showing me the stock of DraftKings, how it went up from $15 to $37. And I'm sitting there,
that's great growth in a month.
And he's sitting there and he's telling me all this stuff. He's like, you got to play the stock market.
Jeff, that's what you need to do.
He's a betting man.
You need to go to the stock market. Forget about what I'm talking about with the picks. Just take the stock market, okay? It went up $20 in like a month. It's beautiful.
Yeah, but if people you had to have owned I have not a lot, but a few stocks. But you had to have owned DraftKings early to get in on that because I think once everything comes back, things go back to normal.
But here's the thing: think about it. Right now it's $37. No, right now it's $37, and nobody's betting anything. Can you imagine what that's going to raise to when as soon as football starts?
It'll actually go down, Anthony.
It'll go up.
No, but they've been drawing in. I'm a Kings customer as well, but I can tell you that they've definitely been drawing people in because they've been running, listen, think of it what you will, but they've been running virtual, Madden games and
simulated games,
doing other things.
And people have been doing it.
Well, sports is coming back, so we're
the
happy.
only game in town. They've been killing it, so that's why their price has gone something like that. But once everything gets back to normal, I think that stock is going to go down.
I do too. And I listen, sports is coming back. No, I'm not betting
on if it's going to go up.
Do you want to bet?
You want to bet? What do you want to bet?
I'll bet you $50.
That's it?
I'll bet you $50 the stock goes down. When sports starts again, it will go down.
How much?
He's right.
How much?
$50. I'm betting you $50. No, I'm betting you $50 that it's going to go down from $37.
Okay, yeah, but what? Like 25 cents don't count.
No, a lot more than that.
Like how much does it have to go down?
About $10.
Well, pick a number that it has to go down to. Right, exactly.
$10.
Like a margin? $10.
$10.
$10 drop.
So
$10
it's going to go
drop.
to 27.
Yeah. It's going to drop.
Or whatever it becomes.
Yeah, $10.
By what date? Now you got to pick a date. It'll be 27 by what?
When sports starts.
You want to say the beginning of football? Just because then you'll have 3 sports going at the same time.
Let's say October or November.